Ray Dalio is best known as the founder and CIO of Bridgewater Associates, the largest hedge fund in the world. His success in financial markets has led to him being ranked as the 79th richest person on the planet as of February 2020. But how did the son of a jazz musician become one of the most successful and wealthy individuals of all time? Here's how it happened. Ray began working at a young age, beginning his paper round at 12 years old before becoming a caddy at Links Golf Club. After overhearing stock market chatter from the players, Ray decided to invest himself. With $300 that he'd saved from his earnings at the club, Dalio invested in Northeast Airlines, the only large company he could afford to buy, which tripled his initial $300 investment after it was acquired in 1972. He later reflected on this quick win as pure luck, suggesting that Northeast Airlines was actually about to go bust. However, this early success stuck with him, generating principles of independent thinking, a trial and error approach, and learning that the way to beat the market is to be right when others are wrong, something that would stick with him throughout his career in more ways than one. After graduating from Harvard Business School, Dalio's first job was as a clerk in the New York Stock Exchange before moving to Merrill Lynch to trade commodities futures, and was later hired by Dominic and Sheraton Hayden Stone as a futures trader and broker. However, this was short-lived, as Dalio was fired for punching a manager in the face on New Year's Eve and for providing inappropriate entertainment for a group of clients. Make of that what you will. That water under the bridge perhaps inspired Dalio to start his own firm in 1975, Bridgewater Associates. Dalio launched the business out of his apartment and initially advised a handful of clients before growing the business quickly. However, in 1982, his business almost crumbled just 8 years after he'd started. He believed that US banks were lending too much money to Latin American countries, so much so that they wouldn't be able to repay the loans. Despite this being a controversial opinion, Dalio was correct, and Mexico stated that they couldn't afford to pay back the $80 billion of debt, of which around $30 billion was owed to the US banks. He thought that the stock market and the economy would go down, and bet everything on a depression that never came. Mexico was able to reschedule its debt, which led the other countries to do the same. At the same time, the Fed cut rates, which led to a bull market which continued for the next 18 years. Dalio had to cut his losses and laid off all the employees at the firm, with him remaining as the last man standing. He even had to borrow $4,000 from his father to pay the bills. It was a devastating moment, but necessary for him to understand that he was not taking everything into account. This inspired one of Ray Dalio's principles: either you spiral downwards or continue forward. He could either give up and play it safe, or learn from his mistakes and keep going. Looking back, Dalio was humbled and embarrassed by his arrogance, almost allowing one bad bet to ruin all his good ones. This was one of the most important lessons in his life, and led to his principle of understanding blind spots and putting your ego to one side. Much of Dalio's success can be attributed to Bridgewater's Pure Alpha Fund, which was launched in 1991 and has annualized 12% since inception, losing money in only 3 years and leading the firm to around $150 billion in assets under management. The firm also distributes a private communication called Daily Observations, reportedly read by leaders of pension funds, central banks, and the US Treasury. In 2008, Bridgewater's analysts predicted that the economy was about to enter a period of deleveraging, with Dalio investing in government bonds, gold, and Japanese yen. Dalio's concerns surrounding the bank's investments in mortgage-backed securities led him to pull the firm out of several large banks, including Lehman Brothers and Bear Stearns, shortly before they both failed. As the crisis hit in 2008, most investment funds lost money and followed the banks, posting huge losses. Bridgewater, however, gained 9.5%, beating the competition and further validating their opinions of the market, along with Dalio's principle of being right when others are wrong. Despite lagging behind the Dow Jones in 2009, Pure Alpha rose by 45% in 2010, and in 2011 it gained 23%, with Dalio earning almost $4 billion, taking his total net worth to $11 billion. By 2013, Bridgewater Associates had 1,400 employees, managing in excess of $150 billion for a largely institutional investor base. As the fund saw only small returns through to 2017, the AUM and employee count remains similar today. Having said that, the impact of the coronavirus took its toll on the firm, with Dalio publicly stating on LinkedIn that their strategies were down between 7 and 21% for 2020. In 2018, Dalio followed Bill Gates and Warren Buffett to sign the Giving Pledge, with a commitment to donating half of his net worth to charity over the course of his lifetime through Dalio Philanthropies. In 2019, the organization donated $100 million to the state of Connecticut to be used in under-resourced communities with high poverty where children are disconnected from their education. Dalio not only shares his wealth, but also his views and principles that have led him to where he is today, writing a book and creating videos online to show how the economic machine works. Dalio is currently worth almost $19 billion and is the 79th richest individual on the planet, with his family trust money invested in Bridgewater's all-weather strategy, which aims to make money in all market conditions, come rain or shine. And that's how it happened.